There are moments in life when everything around you looks bigger than you. The problem, fear, pressure, all seems bigger. The voices against you are louder than the faith within you. You stack in a valley of delay, rejection, fear, and a valley where your enemies seem stronger, louder, and more experienced than you. And in that valley, one question rises in your heart. God, are you still with me here? Because it's easy to believe God is with you when the miracle has already happened. It's easy to trust Him after the breakthrough. It's easy to testify after the giant has fallen. But what about before the victory? What about when Goliath is still standing? What about when the battle hasn't started, but fear is already shouting? What about when you're carrying a promise from God, but everything in front of you looks like it's about to crush it? And today, the story of David becomes a message for every believer who is standing in a valley today. Because David's story is about how God stays with you before the victory, before the applause, before the breakthrough, before the answer, before the giant falls. And maybe that's exactly where you are right now. Maybe you are facing a giant called fear, a giant called lack, a giant called family problems, a giant called a spiritual attack, a giant called delay, sickness, discouragement, loneliness, or confusion. But today, through the story of David, I want to remind you that the valley is not proof that God has left you. Sometimes the valley is the very place where God will reveal that He has been with you all along. So stay with me as we are going through 1 Samuel 17 to discover what it means to trust God when you are standing in your own valley, staring at your own giant, waiting for your own victory. 1 Samuel 17, the Bible tells us that the Philistines had gathered for war against Israel. The armies stood on opposite sides of a valley, Israel on one mountain, the Philistines on another, and a valley between them. That valley had become a place of tension, dread, and fear. And then, out of the Philistine camp came a giant. His name was Goliath. The Bible describes him as a massive warrior from Gath. He was not just tall, he was terrifying. He wore heavy bronze armor. He carried weapons designed for war. His appearance alone was enough to shake the courage of ordinary men. But Goliath's greatest weapon was not his sword. It was his voice. Every day he came forward and shouted a challenge to Israel. Every day he mocked them. Every day he insulted them. Every day he dared someone to fight him. And every day the people of God listened to the giant more than they listened to God. 1 Samuel 17:11 says, When Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Notice that these were not pagans. These were the people of God.